Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with another fun fold card today. I saw this card on Patty Dolan's YouTube channel, and I'm going to link to her video below. But I made some little changes to it because I thought, well, I like it better this way, and I will explain what I have changed. So for the sort of main card or main feature, you need a piece of cardstock that is 8 1/4 by 5 inches. So you can easily cut it from an A4 sheet because that's 8 1/4 wide. I've already got my scoreboard out because we need to score this sheet at 2 3/4. Got this tool out, but I think I'll swap round to my other scoring tool. That's better. So 2 3/4 and at 5 1/2, which gives us 3 equal panels. And then I hope the camera picks it up. We need to score from this tip here to the bottom of the score line. I have put a mark on my scoreboard, so I'm aligning the top and the bottom, but you could also use a ruler and a silicone mat underneath. So I'm just getting in the groove, pushing down there, and then can reinforce that line. By the way, I'm working on a 250 GSM. You could use something slightly heavier, something slightly lighter, but not too light. So, and then we're doing the same again, same direction from the top of this score line to the bottom here. Take your time when you're aligning it. So that's all you need. So I'm not quite sure how well the camera picks it up. So, and then I've got one basic piece, which is my basic card, which will be a 10-fold, and this is one of the things I've changed because you will see the card has got a funny shape, and I find it maybe a little bit confusing for the recipient to open it. So if I put it on a 10-fold card, I think it's quite straightforward. So I have cut a sheet that is 10 by 7 inches, and I'm scoring that in the middle at 5 inches. So I'm just putting the scoreboard away, and then I'll show you how to fold these pieces. The 10 by 7 inch piece is very straightforward. You just fold it on the score line and burnish it to create a 10-fold card. So, and then this here, all the 4 score lines, we fold and burnish them in both directions just to make the cardstock a bit more pliable. My card wants to split a little bit here, so I need to keep an eye on that, whether I need to cut a little bit off there. This is a new cardstock I'm working with that I got through Amazon. There's a pack of mixed colors, so this is the first time me using this. It just wants to split a little bit on the corners, so I might just cut those down a little bit. Sometimes I'll make it worse by doing that, but I think I just snip a little bit off there. It's really just a tiny little bit. So that's all the scoring we need to do for this, and I'll just show you already how it folds. So this one here will be a valley fold, and this one is a mountain fold, so it folds inwards like this. And the same here, this one's a valley, this one is a mountain, and if you've done it correctly, it'll fold like a gate fold, but this way around. And that's why I said it's a bit funny when the recipient gets it. It's a bit funny to put into the envelope. So I thought by creating a base 10-fold card, it can be stuck on here, and then it's quite straightforward how it goes into the envelope. So, but before I stick this all down, I need to create my mats and layers, and I've already cut some pieces here. So I have got, this is some pearlescent card. I'm not quite sure how well it shows. This is, let me just show you this, from a paper pad. I bought that quite a while ago, first edition paper. It's called Oh So Sweet, and it's got lots of glittery cardstock and pearlescent cards, so I thought I might just as well use that. And I have cut 3 pieces that are, let me just check my measurements here, 2.5 inches by 4 3/4, so you need 3 of them. And then I've also cut the same size, 2.5 by 4 3/4 in white to go on the middle panel here. You don't have to have that middle panel. I think it's nice for a sentiment, although obviously with this being a card, or you've got a card base here, you can obviously write some more greetings in there. I'll have to think about something to stamp on the inside anyway. So, and then for the background piece, I've cut a piece that is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. If you don't have a big piece like that, I'm making it easy. You don't really need a big piece because we'll be sticking this here in the middle, so you actually can only need to cover these side panels here, which, let me just measure that. I might actually change my mind about putting the whole piece in the bag. Let me just think. So you only would need 2 inches, is that correct? 2 inches. It's basically, this one here is 2 3/4. No, let me just think. Tell you what, how I do it. Let me just switch off the camera and give you the right measurements. Yeah, just had to check that again to make sure. So you don't need the 6 3/4. You would be fine with just having 2 panels that are 2 inches wide, and I think I will actually do that as well. So 2 inches by 4 3/4. So I will cut this down in a moment. And then my second idea for this card was, because it just pops open like that. Patty Dolan, she had a topper here on the front that is sort of opened, but it still popped open. And I had the idea to basically create a stopper that I put on the inside. And for that, I have cut 2 little circles just with my punch here. I'll just tell you how. That's just just over 1/2 inch, so not really big. And then I have created a little topper. I don't want it to be too big because I'm worried that I can't open the card then anymore. And I've just put a scrap of this cardstock here on some pink left over, and cut this with a circle die, and that's just over 1 inch, 1 1/8, I think. So not too big. You don't want this too big. So but before I show you how to use a stopper, we need to cut some of these pieces down. So 2 of these pattern papers need to be cut down from the top left to the bottom right. So you can do that with 2 of these. Make sure also, if you have directional paper, to get that the right way around. Mine isn't really directional, so I can use any sort of direction. So 2 of them you need to cut this way, and 1 needs to be cut that way. I hope I'm doing this right here. So I'll quickly do this off camera, I think I will do that with my guillotine, but it can be a little bit fiddly, so I'll take my time with that. When you cut your pieces, make sure you keep them together as you've cut them, so you don't get confused. So I'm taking this one first, the one I cut from the top right to the bottom left, and this actually goes on the outside here. So I'm putting this, can you see I folded this over, I'm putting this on the back here because this one will be exposed. By the way, you don't need to use all the same pattern paper all the way around. You can mix and match. I just like this one so much that I thought I'm going to use it everywhere. So I'm applying glue everywhere. Sorry, I just tried to zoom out. I think I need to lift the camera a little bit. So the way we've cut them, they're a little bit smaller, so leave a nice edge. If you want to have mats and layers, you use this size here for the mat, and then the layer on top would be a 1/4 inch smaller again, so you would have 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. But I thought I've got enough dimension here, so I thought I'd go for that. So, and then we fold this one over here, and this piece, the other piece, goes on the side there. Need to move it a little bit down. There we go. Looks a little bit wonky, but it doesn't have to be perfect anyway. So I just switched the camera off a little bit and just for a second and lift it up. So this way it's easier for me to then zoom in. So, and then we take the other pieces and they go on the other triangles. So I'm keeping the pieces coupled as they were, so I've basically got the have cut the design in half there. By the way, one of the pieces I had to cut again because it wasn't quite cut in the middle, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just realizing that this piece is too wide. This is the one I've cut again, so I'm wondering whether I didn't measure accurately. So I need to cut this down here. I quickly do this off camera. I did wonder why this one didn't have too much of an edge. I accidentally cut this piece to 2 3/4 instead of 2 1/2. So it's not perfect, but it doesn't matter, I think. So it still looks good when it folds like this. So then this can go onto the main card. I think what I will do is I stick these panels down first, and then that will tell me where the middle is. So I've cut these down to 2 inches wide, but as I said, you can have the full panel if you want that sort of double layer. So I'm then folding this together to have the best view. I'm putting glue on the back. and then I can put this panel here in the middle, making sure I'm doing the right way around. See, because then you can see where you need to place it. Try to have it as even as possible, and then I can open it up and press this down thoroughly. So, and then I can use my white panel here. As I said before, this is also 2.5 by 4 3/4, and that can go in the middle. So I'm leaving this all to dry, and then I'm going to continue now with the little stopper. So I'm going to score these here in the middle. I'm just placing them here on my grid, and I'm just using this tool here. I'm not getting the scoreboard out. It's just to help me fold these a little bit. So just eyeballing that. If you want to, you can put a silicone mat underneath. Just closing the glue here. So, and then I can carefully fold this in half and then burnish it. It's very fiddly because it's very small. This one's not even in the middle, but it's okay. So my idea was then, I'm folding this here over, again still making sure I've got this lining up correctly, and I'm using my pencil here. Oops, sorry, that was a Posca pen catapulting itself out of the container. So, and I'm just lightly marking here, ideally without not staining that edge there too much, where I need to place my little stopper, because the stopper will sit in the middle and hold this down, and it would sit at an angle. So let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm conscious that this is slightly on the side of where I need to place this, so I'm taking one of these circles and I'm placing that against this pencil line, not over it, just against it, so that I can still remove that line in a moment. And I can also close this and make sure this sort of sits around that edge. And I'm leaving that to dry for a moment because I know this doesn't grip as quickly as I want it to. And then I think I'll do that off camera. I will remove the pencil line with my eraser, and then I will place the other circle against it. Can you see? So it will sit like this. When this has dried, yeah, I'm placing these pieces down and I'm folding the circle or the half circles over this. I'm still not 100% convinced that this actually works, my idea, because I think this might actually be too big, that piece. So, but I'm just pressing this down because it does stay in place like this. So, but I'm just wondering whether, if it is too big, whether the recipient can't open it and whether I need to leave it that way. And just leave it, because I think if I put something on the top and make it flat, I think you can't open it unless I put a score line in here as well and I can fold it up. I think I might just do that. I'm not quite sure how easy it will be though to align it then. So, but I quite like that. What I will do though is reinforce these lines here, because it does pop open quite a bit, but I think it did in Patty Dolan's video as well. So yeah, so what I will do is I will put a diagonal line through this just checking whether I need to measure it or whether I just eyeball where the line goes. So, because I want to give you some sensible instructions. I'll just do that again here. It's one of those videos where sort of I have worked it out, and I've even made a sample today, but I haven't fully planned this here. So just see if I can just put a pencil mark there. So at the top there, sorry, there's a lot of glare there because of this pearlescent cardstock. So I'm just marking this here and marking that there, so I know where I need to put my score line. So I'm just putting my ruler down and my scoring tool. I think at this time I use the metal one again rather than the plastic. So I'm just trying to erase the pencil marks there, and I'm actually folding this a little bit because I think otherwise you won't be able to release it. So, and then I can put glue on the circles here. Oh, I hope I haven't gone off camera. I've forgotten how much I'm zoomed in. Do apologize if I have. So, and I'm placing this score line onto the fold there, and ideally sort of evenly the top and the bottom. Just checking from the side, I'm pressing this down as well, making sure I'm grabbing the glue. Yeah, it looks okay from the side. So I'm leaving that to dry. In the meantime, I'll find a nice stamp that I want to put at the top and the bottom here. Don't know whether I want birthday greetings. Yeah, probably, because they are the most cards I actually use, greeting cards. And yeah, then that will be the card nearly finished. So I have stamped a happy birthday and enjoy your special day. These are just from some RSPB stamp set. And now I can tug these pieces underneath the middle piece. It's a bit of a squeeze, this one here. I think I have glued this down. Oh, I tell you what, see, it's not properly aligned. I have to manipulate that a little bit and squeeze this over so that that can squeeze underneath without bending too much. Yeah, so it does work, but it's a bit of a squeeze, and hopefully you can release that there again. Yeah, so it is a good stopper. It stops very well, but maybe a little bit too much. And I also just put my fingernail in that, so need to be a bit mindful. So I think the best thing will be to have a very lightweight cardstock there in the middle, and obviously we need a little gap to fit that, but I think it's better that way because it holds the front in place, the front in place without popping open too quickly. My other idea, I thought it might be nice actually to have like a little butterfly in the front, but as you can see it's quite tight, but I do like it. I probably have to manipulate it a little bit more with my bone folder. So not perfect just yet, but manageable. We've got quite a bit of cardstock there, so yeah, it does work, but needs a little bit of persuasion. So the only thing that's for me that's left to do now is to open up the 10-fold card and place this sheet on the inside for my actual personal greetings, and then the card can stand up like this, it's straightforward the way it goes into the envelope, and as I said, the recipient can then open it up. I was even thinking about whether I should put a little note on there, you know, open me up or something like that. And yeah, I'm really pleased with this, as that, except for having to manipulate that a little bit more. Yeah, and if you like this idea too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.